Matthew Stafford now has the same amount of playoff wins that the Detroit Lions do since 1957. Yo, what up?
What up, dog?
Mike Nash back again for more. We've been killing it so far. How long you been doing this now? 4 or 5 weeks, like an old veteran out here.
Yeah, man, 4 or 5 weeks for sure.
All right, so we got through a wild card weekend. It was definitely a wild weekend for
That's for
sure.
sure.
What are we doing? We got 4 matchups this week. The final 8. We're down to the big 8, and I don't think there was a lot of huge surprises last week. But I'm going to go ahead and just yank up the matchups, and we're just going to start crushing right through it.
Let's do it.
All right. So, and you can see I left a little bit of a trace of who defeated who last week. So Buffalo coming in they beat the Patriots last week, and they beat them bad.
Yes.
And I think that surprised a lot of people, including myself. So the Chiefs at home against Buffalo. You see the lines there. I got it spread out. -2 for the Chiefs. Over-under is 55. First of all, let's talk about the Buffalo-New England game. Were you surprised? I know you're a Pats guy.
Tragic. It was a tragedy. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills set records on us. We were the number 2 ranked defense in the entire league. We looked like the number 32 ranked defense in the league. He had more touchdowns than incomplete passes. First 7 drives, 7 scores, not field goals, but tuds. I was very surprised, and I know Bill Belichick is very, very upset. He's steaming right now.
Yep, agreed. I actually thought that game was going to be close. I thought the Patriots had a shot to win that game because Josh Allen has been a little bit suspect. Maybe he grew out. Maybe he showed out and can show what he can do in the playoffs for the first time. There's a lot of young, great, high talent level quarterbacks in the playoffs this year.
Definitely.
Allen just he basically just said, "Hey, I'm here. I'm real."
Yeah.
Shipped a great performance, and like you said, 7 straight TDs or whatever. And Allen was a man. He went man's game on that thing. Wow.
Yeah.
What was it? 55. They hung a freaking half unit on them, dude. Jesus and Harold Christ. Pretty impressive stuff against the Patriots, who, like you said, a good D all year.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a record, one of those records where that's the most points ever put on us in the playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised. We got destroyed.
The other half of this matchup is KC coming off another blowout. The Steelers. And guys, Roethlisberger, I can count on one hand how many players in the history of the game that I've hated more than Big Ben. All right. And my thing was, they gave him like a 13.5 point spread last week, and I'm like, they're going to cover that. They are going to cover that. KC hasn't covered a spread all year, and Big Ben's not going out like that. And guess what? Big Ben bent me down like a college kid in a bathroom in his early 20s and just worked me into a corner. And KC hammered him, and Mahomes looked like Mahomes again. And Mahomes has looked like Mahomes since week 4 or 5, whenever he had that rough start. He's been a monster all year.
Yeah.
And now it's the Chiefs with the easy win over the Steelers, hosting Buffalo. You see the spread -2. Over under 55, and this is going to be a track meet.
Man, this is going to be exciting.
Dude, what are you doing here on the -2 for the Chiefs? Let's think about this, because you got the over under 55. I think is about right. I think I could go. I think it's about right, which is scary. Vegas is wildly close most of the time, and I think they're very close here. 30-28 type game. 33-24, something like that. So where are you at on this?
Definitely the over under seems about right to me, because the Buffalo Bills did that basically by themselves last week,
against what we thought was a great D too.
So. Yeah, exactly. So say what you want about the Patriots, young core as far as Mac Jones and those guys, but the defense was legit. And then KC still threw up a 42 point 42 points themselves.
Yeah, dude.
So I see,
Crazy.
both of their defenses aren't the greatest. They're not something to write home about, but um the offenses clearly have the firepower to throw up anything. And if KC is a mild KC day, I mean, that's just weather for both of these guys to shine. And KC's defense definitely is nothing to write home about. So I'm still gonna pick Kansas City with this because I do think that they'll win. I think that they'll win by a tud or more.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Casey, yeah, you're not going to get the crazy weather you get up in Buffalo. There's snow plows. There's, salt trucks down the field in the middle of the game. Nothing like that's happening. I agree. I think KC wins this game outright, covers the spread. I don't think it's going to be that close. But Josh Allen just surprised me. I'll be honest. I mean, I didn't see that coming. I mean, that was just a man's game effort. Shipped it, dude. Just absolutely shipped the Patriots. Like you said, Bill Belichick's rolling in his grave. He's not even dead yet. Kraft is getting a three hands from the Asian massage parlors, whatever he's doing. I don't know what he's doing, but one thing I do know is that that was the Patriots they got like 6 months worth of brutal beatings to put up with, because that was embarrassing for that franchise.
Yes. I feel bad for some of those guys that are going to stick around, because there's going to be a bunch of guys that'll be either on new teams or are going to be serving cappuccinos at Starbucks next year. But Josh Allen, I mean, regardless of anything, that was a huge morale boost for him going forward in his career. I think that, like you spoke about earlier, everybody's had questions about, big games and certain things, and if the pressure was on them. Well, if it's one thing that Bill Belichick and the Patriots organization brings is pressure, and he stood right up to that. But it's just Mahomes, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, speed demons on the outside over there. I mean, those guys, and they've done it before. They've been
there and done it before. Exactly. That's a big price, man.
Nothing's better than experience.
All right, so we're both on the Chiefs. What about the over/under? I'm not even going to bet that. I think it's about right for me.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's go. Here we go. Now, we have the Bengals coming off against the Titans at Tennessee. They got the Tennessee Titans -3.5. Over/under's 47. And the Bengals played a tough one, a gritty effort again from Burrow. Yeah. And I am so impressed with Mixon.
Yeah.
If Mixon wouldn't have beat the girl in the pizza parlor, that guy is unbelievable.
Yeah,
dude, he is serious. Like, he gets the ball and it just looks like a freaking man amongst kids. He's out there, he just beats people. He's bigger, faster, stronger, dude. He's a joke out there.
Yes.
And then we talked about this before. We talked about it last week. We talked about it 10 minutes ago. Chase and Burrow are like, I mean, that's a match made in heaven, dude. And they're both 12 years old out here, and they're, incredible amount of talent here. Does Tennessee earn the 3.5 point spread? And do they, honestly, why are they a 3.5 point favorite? Let's go. Other than the home field advantage, which is obvious. Go ahead.
I have no idea. I'm on the Burrow train. I know I picked the Raiders last week. I was thinking maybe Derek Carr and those guys were on the high.
They almost did it, dude. They weren't out of the game at any point. They played a great, respectable game. They did.
They weren't. And, but I also believe, as I speak about Josh Allen, I think that win, since it was a tough, grinded out game, that gave Burrow, one of those things to stand on, where we fought hard, and a lot of times you look at a team like the Bengals, the Browns, the Lions, where when the going gets tough, they fold under the pressure just because that's what their organization has done for 50 plus years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at Joe Burrow's stats: 24-34, 244 yards, 2 tuds, passer rating of 110.4. I mean, I don't care what you say.
And no fear in the eyes, no happy feet, none of that trash you see out of somebody young.
Man, listen.
You're talking about going back in the history, dude, like 50-year history, like the Colts when they got Peyton Manning. That's what this kind of reminds me of. Like, All of a sudden, the Colts were losers for 100 years. They couldn't
Yep.
win anything. Manning comes in. He had a horrible season.
Yep.
He comes in there second year. He goes like 9-7 as a wild card, and then pretty soon, boom, 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 you get the Hall of Fame career that Manning developed. I think Burrow's on that path. I hope he is. It's fun to watch him. So
Yeah, and injuries is always the thing. You hope I
Yep.
wish the best for everybody, but I mean this guy, he's the real deal. And as far as the Titans, we talked about this maybe last week where it's just I just don't believe in Tannehill.
No.
It would be a totally different ball game if we were talking about the monster of a moose that is Derrick Henry in the backfield. If he was healthy, this conversation would be totally different. I mean, him having a week off is totally different than a team having a week off because you just give that guy the ball and get out the way. So
it's not the same.
It's not the same. So I'm on the Burrow bandwagon. And I just Titans. That doesn't make any sense to me. And
Titans a good story if they win it, but I don't think they do it.
And I also don't like. I think that 47 number is too high.
Yeah, I agree. That's a couple solid, well-rounded teams in general. I mean, Burrow, as good as we love him, I think he's the best young quarterback in the league. Titans, like you said, Tannehill. If the Titans had, and Tannehill's not really even a game manager. He's kind of a hot and cold type of guy. He'll have a good game and a bad game.
Yeah.
I would rather have a game manager who really doesn't do much, like a what was his name? I guess if you wanted to. No, I'm not gonna insult Ben Roethlisberger with that, but
no. I would say like Flacco. If he was a Flacco,
yeah, like exactly. There you go. That's perfect.
Where maybe he hits the hot streak, or Eli, where maybe you could see him and he has the talent
to lose you a game.
Yeah.
And that's Flacco's the exact replicas of what I was trying to say. And Tannehill is not Flacco, which
no.
Tannehill may be talent-wise better than Flacco, but Flacco sat in the pocket and got it done with the best surrounding cast on the planet. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
I mean, geez, that dude wasn't gonna win a Super Bowl on the Lions, for example. But
no,
but with a good team around him, he can do it. Tannehill's got that type of team around him with the Titans. Maybe not that good, but
no. But close enough. But close enough.
Yeah, if Henry's there and he's killing people like he does, I don't know. Tannehill's, he's not Flacco, which I don't think a big level of Flacco either.
But hey, shout out to Joe Burrow and the boys, man.
Hell yeah, I've been a big fan of his, dude, and you want to hate him. You want to hate the Bengals. Why? Because they've been bad for 100 years. It's not my team. The Lions have been bad for 100 years. The Lions are my team. And I do hate them. But when I see you see a Joe Burrow, and like you said, injuries aside, because there's probably been 2 or 3 Joe Burrows that came and went, but injuries derailed them,
For sure.
I think he's that type of generational talent, maybe. Well, I really think he is, unless he gets a catastrophic injury.
And this is the beginning of his storybook. So I'm happy to see. Happy that we get the opportunity to see the beginning and see where this goes.
And you throw them in with Chase and Mixon, and that's wild. If they can keep that team together, they could go they could go on a freaking Patriots run. Speaking of the Patriots run, next matchup, probably the most intriguing to me, and there's a couple of reasons. My guy Stafford shipped it. He shipped it all in last night.
That is a fact.
he now has the same amount of wins as the Detroit Lions in 1,000 years. Playoff wins, that is.
Yeah, since the Model T, damn near.
He has grown into a playoff-ready quarterback, in my opinion. He's always had the talent. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. He got his win last night. Now, granted, your boy right here, I'm gonna have to put up a little. Murray, dude. I mean, if that was the epic implosion of what everybody knows is a guy who can do it.
Yeah.
Just shipping in an epic fail. It was frickin' Kyler. He looked tragic last night. He looked scared, deer in the headlights. And like I said earlier, even in the point when they were down 14-0, it wasn't over. I mean, Stafford's one to pitch a tent and then ship it down, burn the whole house down. He's done it before.
Yeah.
So Murray knows the game's not over, but when he ships that safety situation there and he throws a softball up for the whole world to come in and catch at the 2-yard line, I mean that was the end of it, and that was the end of my respect for him this year. And that was the end of the Cardinals. And will he be back again? He sure will.
Yeah.
But
And
go ahead.
I mean, we since that week of the Lions, we watched their season literally just go into the proverbial trash can. I mean, I feel bad for them because I mean, you got one, top three. If a lot of people put them 1, 2, Devontae, him, because D Hop is that guy, and their
He is,
team
though,
looked,
yeah.
their team looked totally different when he was out there. I mean, big time threat down the field. Also, he can run a route tree perfectly. So it was a bailout if he made, if Kyler was using his feet to make something happen to get some more time, he'd break off a route, be wide open, and then also allow other people in the middle of the field to get open because he is such a threat. The Cardinals' offensive line is terrible, and I think that Cliff Kingsbury is done as the Cardinals coach.
Hot take.
But yeah, what can you say about the Rams? What I am gonna say is I'm not a Stafford fan. I'm not really a Rams fan just because they're just not a team that I've liked for a long time. But I am happy. I'm happy that at least it's a lot of fun to see people crash and burn. But it's also kind of cool for him to get the job done. I'm happy for Odell Beckham Jr. I want to say
Dude,
that
me
first
too.
and foremost. He balled out. And I'm happy for him.
And he's been doing it in crunch time for the Rams because there was a moment when Woods went down. You're like, oh shit, here goes. I mean, because you had Cup, and Cup's the guy, and he's still the guy.
Yeah, triple crown.
But most great receivers have a Robin to their Batman, right? So, and that was Robert Woods, and I think Robert Woods was a dangerous receiver, slot guy, and dangerous. When he went out, it was like, now who? Because I mean, and then here comes your white-headed boy OBJ, and I'm like, nope, don't do it. I kind of put him in the Antonio Brown like untouchables category, and here he comes, and he's done nothing but greatness for this. And I never thought I would root for OBJ. I'm screaming OBJ in my living room last night. I'm like, there he is. There's Jay. And I'm like, am I rooting for him? Because I hated him his whole career. I hated him. I like him because he's playing. I like that team. I like the Rams.
Yeah,
it's a great story, dude. It's kind of a rebirth to OBJ because he had some obviously some downtime. Yeah, injuries.
Let's be honest. I mean,
but he's also coming in and he's happy to play second fiddle to Cup right now, which is that's a maturity thing that's hard to do because like he was once the guy. He was I guess the best receiver in the league at some point. I never saw it, but
I mean, he got famous off a catch that in a game that they lost. And then he broke his ankle the next year. He tore his ACL when he first got with the Cleveland Browns. And then, so he's had moments where I'm sure it was a lot of frustration, even though him and Jarvis were best friends, it just kind of didn't work. And then, and I think you blame that a lot on Baker, as we can see that have been the number one catalyst on why it didn't work.
It's starting to definitely come apart there. So.
But shout out to the Rams, shout out Aaron Donald, shout out Jalen Ramsey, all of those guys.
The Rams are solid on both sides of the ball. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, OBJ was the right fit. And when they signed him, I was like, oh no, I really was. And maybe I was an idiot about that because I've never been a fan of his. I always thought he was kind of a distraction because he's Hollywood, not usually a Hollywood guy. But if that doesn't throw everything I've ever known under the bus, dude, because he's been perfect. He's been perfect. But it would be hard if he was trying to be the main guy and him and Cup were bumping heads, but they're not. They're out there having the time of their life, both of them.
Yeah.
And that's why it's working, dude, because they're both succeeding and their Rams are succeeding. So
but
I really hope they're going to beat Tampa, your guy. I hope they beat your guy, U of M zone, the pride of Michigan, the greatest of all time. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are, by the way, -3. Go ahead. What are we doing here? Now that we're done having a Rams love session.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get down to the reality.
Yeah, let's talk now because they've got the worst matchup imaginable.
Matt Stafford cannot make one mistake in this game. He has no room for error. None of them do. So I'm talking about a bad. So all of the great things we just said about OBJ, one bonehead play, one unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, one drop pass by Cooper Kupp, all of these different scenarios.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford
Turns
making a
into a head
bonehead
game.
play.
You do not want a head game with Brady.
No, because as soon as that
You don't.
happens, they're running the score up. I don't care how many weapons the Buccaneers lost. They have the ultimate weapon, number 12, behind the center. That's all you need.
That's it. And I'm actually with the Rams going into Tampa -3. I don't know. I guess that's right. I mean, how do you feel about that line? Because I'm looking at it, I'm saying the Rams have to win, or I'm sorry, the Bucs are going to win this, right? I mean, I think everybody on the planet would be surprised. But that -3 is not a big number, and I think that just shows that I think everybody knows how good the Rams are, or could be. And this game's crazy. This is the game. This is almost could be the Super Bowl. Like, unfortunately, they're both in this bracket here in the Elite 8 bracket here. But dude, these are two of the best teams out there.
I mean, if it's a flawless game, I can easily see the Bucs winning by a walk-off field goal. I can easily see that actually being a scenario. And of course, Vegas, man. Like
Tom Brady. I could see Tom Brady throwing some underhand, through his legs, hula hoop trick to Gronkowski in the back of the end zone, just because that's how it's always gone for them. But dude, I think the Rams are better, dude. The Rams are a better club.
They are.
The difference is Tom Terrific and all these guys have done it 1,000 times, dude.
Yes.
And that's why this is an awesome game. The Rams are better. Mark my words, they're a better team, and they should win. But going on the road into Terrific's house, forget about it, dude.
Picking the Bucs.
You force me to bet, I'll take the Bucs. I won't bet it. I won't bet it if my life depended on that game.
I agree with you.
Here we go. Last matchup, also very intriguing. You got the Niners. Coming off the sweet defeat of the Cowboys, which I don't think a lot of us were surprised by. A lot of people are going to pretend like the Cowboys were a contender. They weren't. No. They have a guy named Dak Prescott who's average at best. Jimmy G is average at best too, but Jimmy G got heart, baby.
Yeah.
And the Niners just school shipped them. The Cowboys suck.
Yeah.
Good night.
And Jimmy G was a 5-yard pass away, 5 yards too far away from or too short, from getting the Super Bowl. Let's never forget that.
If I came off like I'm killing Jimmy G, I apologize for that. I'm kind of a fan. I'm not a huge fan. He's not my Stafford. He's not my, there's 3 or 4 other guys I like, but Jimmy G's, I don't hate the guy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And to come off and beat the Cowboys
that was the road. Awesome. That was the one thing that made the Patriots loss a little, soften the blow just a smidge, because seeing the Cowboys lose, woo!
Yeah, dude. That was hands across the country. I mean, there was kids on both sides of the East Coast and West Coast. Everybody grabbed hands and held hands because the Cowboys lost. Incredible. And dude, and how pedestrian of names are we getting out of the Niners? Ayuk. I mean, the guys that got it done. Jimmy G. I mean, these aren't household names, dude. We're talking about dudes that the average,
The guy is Debo. Great name. Name. But outside of that,
they beat Dallas, dude.
Yeah.
Are they going to go in and beat Green Bay? Who's
no. This is going to be a slaughtering. This is a slaughtering. No.
Is it a slaughtering? All right.
This is a slaughtering. Green Bay. You got to think. Aaron Rodgers has been resting since that second half against the Lions. He's fresh.
That mullet's been growing. Yeah, he hasn't even thought about it.
Yeah, he's fresh. Devontae's fresh. Those guys over there, I mean, they've been eating, nice wholesome meals, getting quinoa into them, doing all the great things. Water intake is perfect. They're coming out to give these guys a slaughtering. Because as bad as we want to say the Cowboys are, San Francisco barely won. So Green Bay is not the Cowboys.
No, I agree. I agree 100% there. But can the Niners come in with the pure hatred and underdogism that they are and shock the world? And I'll tell you first, before you answer, Vegas has it at 5.5 in Green Bay. Not a huge line. I mean, you would think that. And again, Vegas is usually right. The Niners are a little closer than I think people want to admit.
That's true.
I won't say they're going to beat them, but I think it might be a game.
You know why I think it's going to be a slaughter, and not just the fact that Green Bay is head and shoulders better than them. Jimmy Garoppolo already had the thumb injury, and then they just said that he sprained his shoulder. So with that being said, he's coming in nicked up. And you seen against the Cowboys, he missed a couple of passes that were money, like that had no business for him to miss those throws. Now, granted, he does do that sometimes, but you just see those injuries, and you get them on the ground a couple of times, and they're in that cold, and you know how that cold does on injuries because it's gonna be freezing in Green Bay. There's no question about that.
Yeah, you're gonna hit the ground every time, get cuts on your arms and legs.
Yeah. It's going to feel like you're playing on a basketball court, not a football field.
Yep, it's going to be frozen, the tundra down there. So, I don't know, man. Looks like a great, equally as fun as last weekend. Dude, that Tampa and Rams game.
Yeah, get your popcorn.
I'm hanging on that thing. If the Rams win that, dude, I'm coming through the roof. I don't think they're going to. I'm not saying they're going to. What was that spread? Well, let me pull that back up.
3.
Rams are getting 3.
Yeah.
I won't touch it. I won't touch it with real money.
No. It's a bunch of Detroit Rams fans out here that will also be going through the roof as well.
Dude, and if that happens, if the Rams beat the Bucks, I think the Rams can win the Super Bowl.
We've said it enough times that
look at the Chiefs, though. The Chiefs are hitting on all cylinders when it matters. I don't think the Bengals and Titans winner is ready.
No.
Although I mean, Burrow is going to win 3 Super Bowls. If he stays healthy, he's going to win 3.
Not this time. Not
this year.
He's
not ready.
But if somehow the Chiefs lose, if somehow those Chiefs take a L, Burrow is going to the Super Bowl. And then we're talking
Buffalo.
about Burrow, Stafford. Wow.
Look at that thing. Burrow will beat Buffalo. Burrow will not beat KC.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Buffalo, if Allen pulls it out of his ass, beats KC, the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. I'm serious.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
And I sincerely think, too, whoever wins the Tampa Bay Rams game is going to the Super Bowl. I don't think Green Bay is getting there. I don't think Frisco takes them down, but I think the winner of the Rams in Tampa takes down Green Bay, and they're out. And Aaron Rodgers retires to a Jeopardy life with Alex Trebek and has the time of his life.
Hey, man.
That's it.
We'll see it soon. We'll know sooner than later.
Dude, it's going to be fun. Anything else to add to these matchups? This is great. It's going to be awesome.
This is awesome.
Can't wait till this weekend to watch it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Peace out. We'll see you next week. Late.